Oh yeah, we got okay. We got this all figured out there.
Yeah, we did. What else is it?
Mac.
I don't know.
Mac. No, this is it. He does. That way he gets it. He's staying right here. He's staying.
Yeah. Yep. After that, good. Merry Christmas. Long hustle. Right.
Yeah.
All right, good evening, everyone. It's time to call the regular December meeting of the Madison County Board of Commissioners to order. Let us all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will now have a moment of silence. Thank you. First item on the agenda is the approval of the set agenda. Are there any suggestions, additions from the members of the board? If not, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as posted.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Lechtel, second by Commissioner Rice. All those in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. We now need for the approval of the November 10 and December 5 minutes. I know that the members of the board have had these for review. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
Mr. Chairman, excuse me.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
On the minutes of December 5, on page 2, number 5 at the bottom, we have the motion from Commissioner Wachtel, second by myself, for the employment of D. Heinmuller, but we did not record how the vote was.
Okay. You request that to be corrected?
I did.
All right. I believe, Madam Secretary, that vote was a unanimous
Right.
vote.
Yes, it was. I'll put that.
All right. Is any other discussion from the members of the board? All right. Any other corrections or additions?
I move the approval of the November 10th, 2016 and December 5th, 2016 minutes.
Motion by Commissioner Brigman.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rice. All those in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. The minutes of December 10, December 5, and November 10 are approved. All right, at this time, we open the floor for public comment. And we have two gentlemen tonight who would like to speak. The first is Mike, who's in the room, and followed by Chris. I would like to remind you, gentlemen, this is a 3-minute limit, and Our county manager will be the one to look for him to wave his hand if somebody goes past 3 minutes.
So if I don't see him, I can keep talking?
Yeah, for a moment.
Only to your own detriment.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Good evening, gentlemen. I'd like to discuss tonight the disposition of surplus property, in particular, the offer that was presented last month at the meeting that was tabled. I'd like to point out a few things and I'm sure many of you are aware of, but I'd like to make sure that it's noted. The offer was made $60,000 to purchase a piece of property in the Wolf Laurel area where the offer was made by an individual who previously owned this property or was joint owner of the property. At the time that you guys were discussing this, the numbers I believe were brought out was that the property was in arrearage of taxes plus fees incurred by the county. I believe it was $231,000 or $232,000. This individual is offering $60,000 to purchase the property. I would like for you to take into account when you decide on these issues that nobody should be allowed to profit from the non-payment of their taxes. This property was on the books at $2.7 million. Now, I understand, as Donny pointed out, nothing is sold for $2.7 million or anywhere near that for quite some time. But even at that price, we're looking at him offering 2.2 cents on the dollar for what that's worth. Now, if we give it a haircut, a really good haircut, take the top of the mountain off and drop it down to what's probably more realistic of 1.2 million, he's still offering only a nickel on the dollar. And I have to believe that I speak for the residents of Madison County, the tax-paying residents of Madison County. We deserve more than a nickel on the dollar. I implore you, when you make your decisions, not to allow anybody to profit from not paying their taxes.
Okay. Thank you. Chris?
Good evening. First of all, I want to give you a quick update. Last week, the Asheville Regional Housing Consortium met and they awarded community housing in Madison County a little over $86,000 in home rural rehab dollars. So I'll be working that contract out over the next couple of months and back and forth. But for a minute, I want to take off my community housing hat, put on my concerned citizens hat. On November 16th, we had a tractor trailer crash into the Laurel River, and there was a spill. And fortunately, it didn't turn out to be too toxic of a spill. It didn't have a huge impact on the water quality. But it begs the question: is there something that you all could be doing as a governing body, or something our departments here at the county could do, or something maybe citizens could do to prevent these kind of accidents in the future? It's a tight, curvy road in the mountains. That waterway is extremely important to Madison County for recreation, for the economy, for the wildlife. And as far as I know, there aren't any restrictions on the types of materials that can go down that road. The speed limit is enforced sometimes. That truck was speeding, and just really concerned that there's a potential for something catastrophic to happen that would ruin one of the cleanest and most used waterways of our county. And just wondering if you all had any ideas or anything we think we could do to maybe ask for restrictions on types of materials, slower speed limit, better enforcement by the highway department or the sheriff's department. It's just a huge concern for all of us. We spend a lot of time recreating around and in that region. Just wanted to bring that up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Ms. Melanie Morgan.
Good evening. It is my honor to share that the Madison County Public Libraries won 2 out of 20 North Carolina Public Library Director Association awards for the year 2016. Our first award was Inspiring Young Authors Through Digital Storytelling, and we won the Teen Programming Award for that category. And I just want to take a moment to honor Shauna Bryce. She was ahead of that program, and I just want to thank her for her dedication, hard work, and commitment to this collaborative project with the Madison Middle School as well as the Page organization. Our second award went to Mr. John Wright, who's right here tonight. He won the Friends Volunteer of the Year Award, which we are very excited about. The committee could not have selected a more deserving recipient. John Wright is a person who has impacted and made our community a better place by his acts of kindness and dedication to the Madison County Public Libraries. He is one of those special people that brings a smile to your face due to his zeal for life. John is also the dream volunteer. He will take on any task, great or small. He will even move shelves loaded with books and smile when I ask him to move them back a few inches. John has spent countless hours sanding and staining the Madison County Public Library playground for the children in our community, as well as worked on landscape projects for the library's native gardens. However, what you do not know is that John is famous, at least in Madison County. If John walks into a room of children at any of our libraries, children will exclaim, "That is Cat in the Hat." John has volunteered to help promote literacy each year at our annual Dr. Seuss celebrations. Students from each elementary school visit their local library to celebrate Dr. Seuss's birthday and enjoy the hilarious antics of Cat in the Hat. However, John's greatest gift is his ability to encourage and draw out the most reluctant reader and get them excited about reading, which is true to all of our library staff's heart and friends. John's willingness to help support literacy and children's programming at the Madison County Public Libraries will have a lifetime impact on our community. Therefore, on behalf of the Madison County Public Libraries, I want to thank John for his dedication to making our community a better place through his acts and kindness and laughter. And I also would like to take a moment to ask the audience if John has impacted your life in any way. Please stand.
John Wright.
John, we were hoping you were invited to Chapel Hill to get this award, but both John and I could not attend, and so we were thankful that Shauna and Jean Krause was able to go in our place. So on behalf of the Madison County Public Libraries, I thank you very much for all of your hard work.
Well, you succeeded in making Big Mouth John speechless.
Which is hard.
I'll be quick. A mentor of mine, seems like a lifetime ago, said, if you ever find yourself in this position, just follow the 3 B's. Be gracious, be brief, and be gone. So let me just say, with all sincerity, what a pleasant surprise it was, and what wonderful words so many folks put down in this nomination. But I have to confess that I had an unfair advantage. I was the only fool in this group willing to put on face paint and costumes for tape, which is a photojournalist's dream. So I had an unfair advantage. But let me accept this on behalf of Friends volunteers, library volunteers across the county, because I know that there are so many more who put in more time than I do, probably impact in more critical areas, and it's just a wonderful thing. So I accept this on behalf of volunteers across the county. And if I could put in a plug for Director Morgan, all of you know how the library has flourished under her direction. This has not escaped folks in other jurisdictions. I would respectfully say, do everything you can to keep her in the county.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Welcome to your job.
So are you guys?
I think we're gonna use a picture of John with the volunteers. I'm not really sure.
Even better.
Yeah.
That'd be fine.
That'd be great. So.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That's perfect.
So how do you want to do it?
We can have John stand up and all the library personnel.
We're back. Just-
You, as long as you're in the middle.
Oh, no, you gotta show them, John. Get up here on your way.
That looks great.
Where I'm hiding.
Claude, stand up. Stand up. Melanie? You?
Melanie?
All right, there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
All right, I have one more thing. So tonight I'm here also to select a library board of trustee. So the Madison County Public Libraries proposed the following person for the position of the library board of trustees, and that is Gwen McTaggart. Gwen McTaggart is an active Mars Hill Library patron who understands and appreciates our wonderful library system. In addition, she is an active member of the Madison County Public Library Marshall Book Club, and we appreciate her support of the library and believe she would be a good candidate for the position of library board of trustee.
Thank you. Do we have a motion on behalf of Gwen McTaggart?
So moved.
So moved by Commissioner Wechtel,
Second.
second by Commissioner Brigman. Any discussion? All those in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It is a befitting opportunity with all of you sitting here tonight to say how appreciative that we are of the great efforts that the volunteers and the community do to truly give us one of the best library systems in the state. And I know that our citizens appreciate that. The kids, the school system appreciate that. And I can just say for myself, I know I personally appreciate that. And thank you again for all your dedicated hard work for a lot of years. And we look forward to continuing, hopefully, a very good relationship with all of you and with the great public libraries of Madison County. Thank you for coming. We've got a room full tonight. Everybody likes to watch it on the internet or something. We'd love to have more people come. So spread the word, okay? All right. Mr. Scott Greer.
Good evening.
Evening, Scott.
I'm here to propose the Buncombe Madison hazardous mitigation plan. It was started back in, I want to say 2014, but it's been an ongoing thing. And it's updated every 5 years, so we're almost behind, but we'll be just fine getting it in this year, by the end of this year. I've got Hot Springs and they've already signed off on it, and Marcel and Marshall are be within the next week and a half.
All right.
Donny, I assume you've.
I've read the resolution and looked at it, which is appropriate. The plan, I'm sure, is an extensive document.
It's one of the reasons why we didn't print out a whole copy for everybody was it's over 500 pages, and me and Darlene's got the link online to anybody wants to.
You don't have it memorized yet?
I would recite the whole thing, but I haven't got the last 3 pages done.
Gotcha.
I think
I can't be thorough. I just won't do it.
We'll wait for the next meeting.
I think, Commissioner, this is something that we reviewed and looked at sometime probably a year ago. Is that right? Mr. County Manager, and approved it, so you're just coordinating that plan with Buncombe County. Is that correct?
Right. So this requires no board action. Scott, thank you.
Just your signature.
Later.
Thank you, Scott.
I also want to thank Scott and Amanda on a separate subject. For those of you who may have donated to the folks in Tennessee, I'm very appreciative of Scott being willing to devote his time, bring out, put up the sign for various purposes we have here, and that was very useful. That was able to get a truckload of stuff that Commissioner Brigman delivered last Saturday after the parade. And that whole idea went back to one of our interns in the Career Center. But Scott, thank you. The sign was invaluable. Amanda, thank you. Okay, that really helped to generate the donations, which were greatly appreciated.
Mr. Chairman, the
Yes, sir.
board does need to adopt the resolution.
Okay, all right. Resolution to adopt the Madison Buncombe Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan. The chair will entertain a motion for that.
So moved.
So moved by Commissioner Wechtel.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Brigman and Commissioner Rice. Any further discussion?
Which one was the second?
Commissioner Brigman or Rice? Yes. Any further discussion?
I guess I don't need to.
All those in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. All right. Darlyne, I'll sign that. All right. Mr. Donny Laws.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think you have a copy of the update of the tax foreclosure. It wasn't in your package, but I believe Darlyne handed it out to you before the meeting. I'll go over that briefly with you. As far as new files sent to me for collection, I did not ask Lori for any additional files as I have a sufficient inventory right now to work from. December also happens to be her busiest month of the year in tax collections, and I know she's covered up, so that's another reason that I didn't ask her to get files to me that I wouldn't be doing any work on for next month anyway. So I told her I would be requesting more files for January. Your second item, you'll see a list of 9 files there. Those are 9 lawsuits that have moved through the process to the point that we have now set a sale date for those parcels. That'll be January the 5th. You should see the notice of publication coming out, I believe, Paul, it's next week's newspaper. For all 9 of these tracts of land, it'll appear in the newspaper for 2 successive weeks. But we'll stagger those 9 parcels for sale all on January the 5th, much like we had to sell back in September, I believe, for 6 or 7 parcels. I've included in the listing of those what the original amount of the tax was on each of those parcels when the file was referred to me. The taxes have all increased on those, which should be a larger amount once we complete those. So I've updated, I've totaled all of that, so we're looking to collect right at $65,000 in delinquent taxes, together with the increases in interest since that day. For the month of November, we have collected $31,021. You will note on that there has actually only been one account, $4,400, that was paid. The $19,005 and the 7 was on an existing payment plans. So, you know, this is probably one of those to where, since this is the largest month that Lori is actually collecting ongoing taxes, this, I hope, is one of their lower months of collecting back pay. I think we're next month, if we can get those sales together with folks that make their payments, we should be looking for enough of an offset to average us back out and keep us on the progress that we've made so far to collect the back taxes for the year. This is something that's not expected. We'll look to hopefully recover that amount and a whole lot more next month. Do you have any questions about anything?
Any questions from the members of the board?
No.
Donny, thank you again.
Thank you.
Well done. All right, Ms. Brooke Smith, Human Resources Director.
Evening.
Good evening.
So today I'm coming to you guys with the Family Medical Act, the FMLA leave policy that I've updated. We talked about it for the past couple of meetings. So this just brings us a little bit more in line with state and national standards for how we're going to implement it. Right now, when an employee needs to go out on leave, they exhaust all of their paid leave, and then we kick in the 12 weeks of protected leave if they're out that long. So you're looking at employees could be out for several months, which can put a strain on budgets and actually providing the services that we're here to provide. So this plan, this is just a national best practice, which says that on day one, everything runs concurrently. So you start your 12 weeks and your paid leave at the same time. Nothing will happen to an employee until all of their paid leave is exhausted. So if they have 7 months of paid leave, they can take their 7 months of paid leave, but we don't tack the 12 weeks on at the end.
I've got, on page 2,
Yes,
first paragraph, 3rd line.
typo.
Yeah,
I
think-
highlighted it today.
okay. I think you're just missing a word there.
I am.
Okay. And then,
Just didn't want to change anything until I came to you guys.
on page, I had my note on page 6. I don't think it actually is page 6. I know in some counties, and I don't know if we have a policy that allows this or prevents this or whatever, but I know in some counties, for example, if you have an individual who, the case that I most recently know of that comes to mind, let's say an individual has breast cancer, and she's going to be out for an extended period of time. Everybody knows that. In some counties, coworkers can donate their comp time. We do that.
We do that.
Okay.
You can donate leave.
Just wanted to make sure we did. Very good. Thank you.
And our employees are very active in that with each other.
Super. Thank you.
Other questions, comments from the members of the board? All right, we have reviewed this in work session. We have now reviewed the final. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the updated Family Medical Leave Act policy.
So moved.
So moved by Commissioner Rice,
Second.
second by Commissioner Brigman. Any further discussion? All those in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Thank you, Brooke.
Thank you.
Well done. Forrest.
This is a relatively short report following up on the longer planning meeting from last week, but just a few things. The changes that we've been talking about for the past year or more to the Fair Labor Standards Act and overtime changes that would have impacted anyone who made less than $47,000 and some change. A federal court has, I guess, held that up, and I think the newsletters we get say it's to be determined, but I think based on just common sense and reading the news in general, I think it's unlikely that that would be something that would go through in the near future. So we were prepared for that to go into place on December 1st, had employees ready to adjust who would have been subject to overtime, who will no longer, for now, that will not be an issue. So that is good news. We were prepared for it, but there could have been an impact on our budget. So that is a good thing. And to reiterate, we did not have any employees who are really at that low level where we have been asking them to work overtime but haven't been paid a fair salary. So that's over. I received an email today from Land of Sky RPO. You all, I think we had discussed before, and I know there had been an email sent out about the lack of projects, transportation projects in the draft state transportation improvement plan that was going into place that would go through, I think, 2017 through 22. Initially, there were no projects funded in Madison County. Nothing's funded. There were no projects on the list from Madison County. The next scoring project was to look at 2570 from North Main Street or Mashburn Hill out to the middle school where Brush Creek crosses. Look at putting some passing lanes and turning lanes in there. DOT in Division 13 had prioritized an I-40 project in Asheville, which had taken those funds. There was another round that came under, and there was a survey that went out that Madison County had the most participants in of any county in the region. People weighing in on these projects, that being one of them, and received word today that that project for 2570 is in the draft plan. So that's a very good step.
Very good.
That means we will not even have to go to the next round for now. It's a draft and things on that plan. There's not enough money in the state to fund everything that's on the list, but you're without hope if you're not on that list. So that's a good thing. The mini split installation at the courthouse is underway. They are working on the electrical work that needs to take place to get those connected. So that work is ongoing day by day as we speak and should be finished fairly quickly when they get that started. I should have added this for Melanie, but the Hot Springs Library is doing work is coming along very well, and Melanie sent me pictures, and y'all just take one of these and pass it around of some of the work going on there. Lease has been signed, and we're preparing for. There's one copy for everybody. They're almost like keep looking, but
Smile and pass, smile and pass.
it's upside down. I wish
Keep going.
they are preparing for a January 24th opening at the new location, and I think that they'll have to close for a few days to make that move. But they're very excited about that, and maintenance is doing a good work on that. I was going to update you. I will update you again. Chris Watson had mentioned earlier home funds. They had applied for $100,000 for CHC for their urgent repair. And as the money was split among the different counties, Madison and CHC for that received $84,227 in funds that were reallocated. Economic development. The internet service provider meeting was held here on November 15th. It's basically illegal for any of us to engage with the provider if we're not providing the same data to everybody from the survey that was done this summer. There has now been a meeting and everyone has had an opportunity to get that information in the provider world. And now follow-up meetings can legally take place with the most interested providers. It's going to be a difficult task, as we talked about before, but it is doable. It is there's some expansion work underway, but it's just not profitable for many of these providers to go into certain areas, and most of which Madison County looks like most of those areas. So grant funding, usually federal grant funding, is a key part of that. There is grant funding available, and as we read, there may be, if infrastructure spending next year includes broadband, which it may, there could be significant additional funding available. So if it will take the ability to find that funding and match it and look at different opportunities, but that is being worked on. There was a successful first annual career day for technology careers at Madison High School about 2 weeks ago. Sarah Nichols pulled that together. She had a better name for it. It wasn't just career day, but very good. I've good attendance from a number of students who signed up in advance. We had companies from throughout the state and region, and it was a very good thing to see some follow-up and cooperation from the school system and others, and really showing students the opportunities that are available in that field. And the next, we'll be celebrating here in about less than 24 hours. Some people think it's still a surprise, but we know it's not. We'll be officially, I knew we could never pull it off, but we will be, formally recognizing Darlyne's years of service tomorrow. But I did want to say tonight, as she comes up and presents for the last time, how much I've enjoyed working with you for the last couple of years and knowing you over the years before that. So we're going to miss you, but really wish you well. And we'll be doing a lot more of that tomorrow evening. So any questions?
First, I have one point that came out of our last work session. We had talked about, it was actually Matt's idea about making information available to the audience, things that, maybe they can see either on a board or a handout or something. Could you kind of speak briefly to
Just
that?
what we're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We, during the work session, we met at the library and I was giving a presentation, had a screen, so it was going through the PowerPoint. Everyone in the audience could keep up. And Commissioner Wechtel asked those in the audience if it was helpful, and everyone agreed that it was. So we're working on figuring out, before we leave, we can just pull that screen down and see what the shadow issue is, but working on figuring out a way to do it in this room, whether it's purchasing a monitor for one of these sides or pulling down the screen and being able to show for those people who have presentations, the audience will be able to follow along. Another related to that discussion that has not been finished yet, but I think the discussion's finished. I think there's agreement to move forward, is having all information that can be public from the meeting notebooks actually scanned and put online, so that when the agenda's up, members of the public can also go on there and find that information and be able to follow along during the meeting or see things in advance and either speak to individuals before or sign up for public comment to come speak to those issues that could be there. So I expect we're doing some research on how to set the other thing up. The scanning will be a relatively easy task. We should be able to have that in place in January. And then the screen issue may be simple, maybe not, but we'll get that figured out. Depends on where we have to purchase additional equipment.
All right. Thank you. Any other comments? Forrest, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Forrest.
Thanks.
Ms. Darlyne Rhinehart.
Thanks, Forrest.
Wait a second.
Oh, sorry.
Mr. Chairman, I
Yes,
think
sir.
it'd be a good time, with your permission, if we could comment on the retirement of Ms. Rhinehart.
Absolutely, either now or as she finishes her, but please feel free.
Well, I think it's a good time now. I know I appreciated her time, and she spent many years with the county. And if you don't work with people like she has, and she's worked with all types of people, and she's worked many years with different types of people, and she's been nice to people. She's answered their problems, their questions, and tried to do the job like it should have been done. She's also gone beyond the call of duty to do this job. She stays late. She does whatever has to be done, and she has. And I know we'll certainly miss her. She's had to work with a lot of different people in her tenure, and that's always a chore. Different county managers, and of course different county commissioners, and she's always been able to do the job and do it properly. And for one, I appreciate the job she's done. And I hope she enjoys her retirement. It's not bad.
Bill, thank you.
I'd like to tell Darlene how much I appreciate it. When I was elected in my first term, I was told before I was sworn in how important she was and to take care of. So that's what I've tried to do. I've tried to take her, and she in turn has took care of me. And I want to thank her for everything she's done for me, because as sitting in the chairman's position, she helped me, and I was as green as could be, and she helped me and led me through it and got me through it. I think we did a good job. I hope she enjoys her retirement. We're going to miss her cakes. She's one of the best cooks we've had. She's took care of it. So, and being a clerk to the board, like Commissioner Briggs said, she spends a lot of time preparing our books, special meetings and all that she don't even get any recognition for. And the time she puts into this is a full-time job on top of her full-time job. Thank you, Darlyne.
Thank you, Wayne. Mr. Wexler? Wayne?
Well, since I'm kind of the newbie on the board, I guess, my time with Darlyne hasn't been all that long, but in the little over a year, she has been a tremendous asset to the board, and I appreciate your efforts. And she's always made sure we stay well fed whenever we have meetings and stuff too. So that's always, as you can tell, most of us up here, with the exception of Bill, not many of us have missed a meal. So we appreciate Darlyne for taking care of us on that as well. And also, aside from that, I appreciate you raising a fine young man who's helped me out a lot over the years, and Brett, and appreciate you doing that as well too. Thank you, Darlyne.
Well, Darlyne, I've only been on the board 2 years, but I've known Darlyne somewhere in the early 70s. I think Darlyne was a cheerleader.
No, in the 8th grade.
A couple years, right?
That's been too long ago that you and I probably don't want to talk about it. But I've known Darlyne a long, long time, and I wish you the very best in your retirement. And I hope you guys have a wonderful time. And funny story: we were in Daytona, my wife and I, a couple of summers ago, and I knew Darlyne and Calvin had a house down there, so I called Darlyne and I said, I was just going to run by your house and see, where it's at. So she gave me the address and clocked it right in, GPS, drove right up to it, got up, walked around, looked at it. Nice. Nobody was there, fortunately. Got in the car. She later called me back and said, did you go to the house? And I said, yeah. And she said, I sent you to the wrong one.
Yeah, I gave you 55 instead of 50.
Yeah, so I know the neighbors were kind of looking at me kind of weird. A car from North Carolina looking at somebody's house. But as I said, Darlyne, I go back a long, long way. I wish you the very best.
Thank you.
Donny? Got anything you'd like to add?
Well, I've not known Darlyne that long, but I came over here probably 3 or 4 years ago. And I can tell you from working with other public agencies that your chief financial officer next to your county manager is the most important employee that any public institution has. Looking in their paperwork here, we have a budget in excess of $20 million. Your chief financial officer is responsible for every penny of revenues that comes in and every penny of revenues that goes out. And you're looking at the lady who has taken care of Madison County for many years without any problems. So I can't comment very much on her cooking. She's promised me things and I've not gotten it. With the money that she handles and what she's ably done for many years, you could buy a lot of cakes with all of that money. So give her kudos for her professionalism, even though she's a fine Madison County girl. You can be very proud when one of your own has stepped up and done an admirable job in a very difficult and responsible position.
Thank you. Darlyne, they left me in a spot. I've known Darlyne virtually since she was born. Everybody up here has said it, but it fundamentally boils down to character and integrity and honesty and decency. And Darlyne, we have been blessed to have your services. Don't go away. I know you're going to spend some time in Florida, but we need you in this community. I know you want to be in this community. And I know that there will be other opportunities because you're not a person to go sit down on the porch. You'll be involved. But to everyone who has benefited from her dedicated and loyal service, Darlyne, thank you very much.
It's been good to me, and I do appreciate it. There's just one thing I want to say. I do appreciate everything this job has supported me a good life, my family and my children. Supported me with a lot of good friends. And I hope that someday I am able to walk into the election booth and vote for that young man right there to be governor of this great state. I think he's destined for great things.
We gotta get him to change the party affiliation first.
No comment.
I'm gonna try to get these reports. The financial report for the month of November. I'll get to the page 4. Our revenues today were at 40.33%, and our expenses are at 36.66%. That's a gain over last year at this time of $483,000. We should be at 41.65 at this point in time, but we are very good. Expenditures are way low, so that's a good thing. Same with our landfill revenues. They're at 51.38%. Expenditures are at 37.45. Now you'll look for these to start, falling back some because we are in the collection period. And I had intended to get the 4042 school report done for y'all for tonight, but I wasn't able to get it done, so I'll get that to you. Our 2016 collection the tax collections, they're up 331,000 over what we were at this point in time last year. That's all. Really doing good. Anyone have any questions on that?
Any questions from the board?
Darlyne, in honor of this being your last report, I have no questions.
It's my birthday today.
Thank you.
Let her off the hook that easy.
Thank you, Clay. I don't know if I can answer it. Okay, and then we move on to budget amendment number 4. And this budget amendment includes a $25,000 grant that Sarah successfully got for the county through the Pigeon River Fund. The state aid in the library came in at $3,409 more than projected. Also an LSTA grant amount of $16,115 for the library. And the health department, unfortunately, did not receive a rural health grant that they had thought would come in, so we're reducing the expenditures by the amount that grant was projected to be. And then there was just some money that was received in addition over what was budgeted for from the American Cancer Society. And that money goes to community services.
All right. Are there any questions about budget amendment 4?
Darlyne, what of the rural health grant? Why did that not come in?
I don't know the reasons why they didn't get it. Do you, Forrest?
I don't, but I know they estimate some of their grants are not really application based. It could have just been federal or state funding. I don't know that, but sometimes when we do the budget, those things aren't adopted, but I don't know. I'll check on it to see if it's another explanation.
And it's 100% done deal at this point. We're just not waiting for a decision. It's just, we didn't get it.
We didn't get it.
Okay.
All right. Any
I'd
other,
just like to know why. Thank you.
any other questions or comments? The chair will entertain a motion to approve budget amendment 4. So moved by Commissioner Rice.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bregman. Any other comment? All those in favor of approving budget amendment 4, let me know by raising your right hand. Darlyne?
The next item is your November property tax releases and refunds. I think a lot of those, you see the one on the first page, there's like, it covers most of the page. That's due to foreclosures as well as on the second page.
Clearing foreclosures. Yeah.
That's the byproduct of the foreclosures, isn't it?
Yes. Clearing
The end of Ivy, we actually sold that for a fairly decent amount of
Yes, we
money,
did.
but there was a high amount of tax that had accrued on that. So what would have been written off, would they probably prorated that per each tax year and wrote the deficiency off is what
Right.
that's written.
Yeah, clear the books.
Good
But
enough.
you still turn that piece of property for a hefty profit. All right. The chair will entertain a motion.
I move we approve the property releases for December 2016.
Motion by Commissioner Brigman, second by Commissioner Rice. Any questions or comment? All those in favor, raise your right hand. November property releases are approved. And refunds.
Okay.
The next item I have is your 2017 meeting schedule that needs to be adopted, so I can get it posted on.
All right, this has been reviewed in work session and discussed. Commissioners have any comment or changes they wish to make to the proposed? Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
You need to-
There you go. Well, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the 2017 meeting schedule.
So moved.
So moved by Commissioner Wechtel,
Second.
second by Commissioner Brugman. Any further discussion? All those in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. The 17th schedule is approved to be posted.
Okay, the last item I have for you are the 2000 December board vacancies and reappointments. We have two on the nursing, adult care, home, community advisory board. Alan Bradley does not want to be reappointed, and Linda Freeman has resigned.
Okay. Do we have any nominations for the nursing adult care home community advisory board?
I found the last two. It's up to you guys now.
Fair take. Fair point.
That's fair enough.
Fair
We'll
point
do our
taken.
best.
How many's on that board, Forrest?
It's 5 or 6.
I think it's 5 too.
5.
So they barely have a quorum.
That's true. However, I think most of their work is not in a meeting type setting. It's more individual or pairs of them that visit, but we need more.
All right.
And they still have the limit, they still have the, if you have a family member in a nursing home or care facility, you cannot serve on that board.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, I think we need to work as we have worked on a lot of these boards. And if anyone in the audience or anyone listening, if you would like to come forward and apply, there's a process. You can check with Forrest or with folks at the county office. And we would love to have more people participate. We've closed a lot of these the last couple of years. There were a lot of vacancies a couple of years ago. And we really appreciate people stepping up to do this, because these are, for the most part, give your time and your energy and donate your efforts. But they're very critical participation by the members of the community. All right, we'll come to the Transportation Authority Board. And I think we may have some people who have applied and who have expressed an interest. So do we have any nominations to fill the vacancies on the Transportation Authority Board?
Mr. Chair, I nominate Penny Charles on the first vacancy there for the DSS Special Requirements position.
Excuse me? Transportation Board? The DSS position?
Yeah.
Yes. This individual has to be part of DSS. It's a requirement for the Transportation Board. And Ms. Charles does meet that qualification.
Okay.
Do I have a second for that?
Can we do all three of them at the same time?
Absolutely. That's perfect. Let's do all three. I have no problem. Do we have any other?
Mr. Chairman, I would nominate David Allen.
David Allen has been nominated.
And I'll nominate Angie Allison.
Angie Allison. Do we we have any other nominations?
I move the nominations be closed.
Motion by Commissioner Wechsel, the nomination is closed. Do we have a second to that? Second by Commissioner Rice.
I move that we approve Mrs. Slate.
I second it.
All those in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Penny Charles, David Allen, and Angie Allison have been added to the Transportation Authority Board. All right. Vacancies are changes on the Planning Board. The chair will entertain nominations.
We have one there, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
The Watershed Review Board.
Yes, sir. All right.
We have
These,
one gentleman there who is on the board and wants to continue.
okay. Do you have a nomination for him to continue?
If you
We'll
open
open
the
that.
floor for nominations, I nominate Bob Zink.
For Watershed Review Board, Commissioner Franklin. Do we have any other nominations?
Move that nominations be closed.
Nominations be closed. Moved by Commissioner Wechsel,
Second.
second by Commissioner Rice. Any discussion? All those in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Mr. Bob Zink will continue on the Watershed Review Board. All right, moving on to the Planning Board.
Mr. Chair, I nominate Jackie Ball.
Jackie Ball, nominated. Any other nominations?
Mr. Chairman, I nominate Sue Keener.
Sue Keener, nominated by Commissioner Rice. I see here that one of the other members is willing to serve another term. Is that correct? We would also need to continue that, would we not?
I'll nominate Clyde Gregory.
Clyde Gregory for a continued term. Any additional nominations?
I move nominations be closed.
Nominations be closed. Motion by Commissioner Wechsel. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, all those in favor of Jackie Ball, Sue Keener, and Clyde Gregory, let it be known. Excuse me, sir.
I don't know if it's appropriate. I need to interrupt that real quick. The special requirement for that position,
Which one?
for the Jackie Ball appointment.
I do not know if that is a requirement or not. Do you know if that, I think they have the geographic location.
That's just where they're representing, it's not actually.
Okay, so it's not actually a requirement.
We've tried to stick to some distribution that's not.
I apologize for the interruption.
No, no problem. Valid question.
Okay.
Any other questions by members of the board?
No.
Okay, to all those in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. All right. Board of Adjustment.
Mr. Chairman, I would nominate Ernest Ramsey.
Ernest Ramsey. Any other nominations?
I nominate, Mr. Chair, I'd like to nominate Mike Tersey.
Mr. Mike Tersey.
Tuesday, sorry.
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
My mistake, Mike, sorry.
That, and that position he made the nomination for is the alternate. Okay.
Any other questions or discussions?
So just, which one was the alternate? Which one was?
Mike was the alternate and Ernie is the.
So just to repeat, Ernie is the direct appointee and Mike would be the alternate. Any further discussion or clarification needed? The chair will entertain a motion to.
I move we close the nomination.
Close the nomination. Second by Commissioner Rice. Any other discussion? All those in favor of Ernest and Mike, raise your right hand. All right. The Board of Adjustment.
That's what we just done.
Parks and Rec, I'm sorry, my bad. Mistake 44 of the night.
Mr. Chair, I nominate Mac Boone for the Parks and Rec for one of the vacancies.
Mac Boone, nominated for Parks and Recreation Board.
Can we just list those that are serving and then nominate the one that is vacant?
I don't see any difficulty with that. Do you, Mr. Attorney?
You can do that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do that.
Okay.
So we have Mac Boone,
Correct.
Michelle
Broskowski.
Jeff Levin, Tina Thorpe.
And Tina Thorpe.
Mhm.
And one remaining vacancy.
Yes.
I would nominate Eric Allen for the remaining vacancy.
Eric Allen for the remaining vacancy.
Has that gotta be as part of the school system?
The one above that does.
Mhm.
Tina Thorpe.
Yeah, she's assistant principal.
Yeah,
High school.
she's in the school system.
Okay. That's the last one.
Any other questions
Eric
or
Allen's one of
comment?
the vacancies.
Move nominations be closed.
Nominations are closed. Second. All those in favor of Mac Boone, Michelle Borowski, Jeff Levin, Tina Thorpe, and Eric Allen. If you don't mind raising your right hand.
Okay.
I believe that we have filled the necessary vacancies. Am I correct, Darlyne?
Yeah.
All right,
And if someone wants to serve on this nursing adult
please.
care home advisory board, if you know anybody that would do that, we need people on that because it's a very important board here in the county. But there is some training involved, and that seems to be some of the problems we have with keeping people on this board. You have to go and you have to get some training and some certification. And I just want people to know that before they think about being on the board. It is a little time consuming for the first few months to get the training behind you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Darlyne Rhinehart has volunteered to serve on that board.
I am interested in that one.
Well,
I would nominate Darlyne Rhinehart.
Chair has a nomination of Darlyne Rhinehart as a vacancy on the Nursing Adult Home Advisory Board. Seconded by Commissioner Rice. Any discussions? All those in favor, let it be known by raising the right hand. Thank you, Darlyne.
Already hunting a new job.
Yeah, we will let you go.
I have
All right.
Darlene, is there any other ones you want?
a.
You got a lot of time.
No, this, that's Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have come to that time of the meeting, which under the statutes of the state of North Carolina, 143-318-11 for closed session. We need to have a closed session for personnel and legal matters.
I move closed session 143-318.11 for
Commissioner
personnel.
Greer,
Second.
Commissioner Wetzel. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in closed session. Same place, guys.
Hey, Paul, that came out wrong. I didn't mean to imply that you were. As soon as, that's one of those, as soon as it came out of my mouth, I was like, that didn't sound